authors, welcome to Author Nation. I'm Melody, and today I'm going to summarize this book, The Nonfiction Book Proposals Anybody Can Write by Elizabeth Lyon. This book includes 15 chapters and 4 appendices, and the chapters mostly represent the parts of a proposal. Right, let's put this down and start with chapter 1, book proposals. What are they and why would you write one? So namely, a book proposal is something you give to a publishing house or to an agent so the agent can sell it to publishing houses. Why? You want to get a publishing contract and in advance before you start writing the book. That is the entire purpose of a proposal. If you are self-publishing, you do not need to write a proposal. Chapter 2 is all about evaluating and refining your idea, because if you don't have an idea for a book that is saleable in the market today, you will not get a contract. It doesn't matter how qualified you are, it doesn't matter how fabulous your idea is, if it's not what the marketplace wants or the market isn't big enough or something like that, it won't get sold. So how does she suggest you evaluate it? Snapshot for you. Do you have the enthusiasm to write this book? Writing a book takes a long time. Do you have the qualifications? Are your goals right? And are you willing to learn, especially if it's your first book and you've never written a book before and published a book? You have a lot to learn. From the publisher's side, this is what they look for in a snapshot. Does your book fill a void? Does your book make a contribution? Does it offer something new or different? And does it meet demand? Those are the summary of what it is to evaluate your idea. Chapter 3, research made easy. She lists a bunch of places where you can do research. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'll just do my research online. But honestly, there are better places sometimes to do your research, like libraries. You'd be amazed how much is in a library that is not on the internet. I know you think everything's on the internet. There's some stuff in the libraries that are not on the internet that are highly valuable. I would do some research there. So directories, databases, clearinghouses, periodicals, newsletters, books in print, books out of print, book reviews, authorities in your field. You can interview people. So this chapter is all about not just going online, but finding all the places where you can gather the information you need to write the book. Not write the book, write the book and write the proposal. About the competition, she suggests that you look at 6 to 12 books and you organize this particular section in a lead, a body, and a conclusion. So for the lead, you state the subject matter of the book again and why now is the good time to publish it and why you are the right person and why the slant or the angle of this particular book is the right angle. And then in the middle part, for each book, she wants you to have the bibliographical information, like all the details about the book, describe the book, and then she wants you to compare and contrast. How is your book the same? How is your book different and better for each book? And then wrap it up and in conclusion, just stating why again your book is overall better than what's out there. So that's Chapter 4, about the competition. Chapter 5, about the author. This is where you sell yourself. This is not the time to be humble. This is the time to be vain. So because it gives you and the agent and the publisher a framework for why you are the person to write this book now. So it's usually written in third person, unless you like sounding vain, then you can write it in the first person. And what do you need? It's not a resume. So you can put the resume in an appendix at the back of your proposal, but this is not a resume. This is where you're using active verbs, right? You're talking about things you did, things you know. You just really make it active, impressive. You want your credentials, your subject credentials, right? How you know about the subject, your career credentials, if they're related, like where you've worked, your educational background and why that matters, any credits you have, awards you've won, publications, memberships, any promotion skills you have. So if you're a public speaker, you want to add that in there because then they can say, okay, this person can promote this using their public speaking, and any personal data that matters, and then any associations or name drop here, right? Like if you've worked with someone famous who's already written lots of books and you've worked on things together, this is the time to name drop. Chapter 6, concept statement. So the concept statement is the first part of the book proposal. It's that very first thing, and you know what they say, first impressions count. So describe your book in under 250 words, and if you can do it under 100, better for you. As you are competing with so many other book proposals, you want to very concisely grab their attention and let them know why they should consider reading your proposal. Remember, this is the first part of your proposal. And what you need in here? Generate excitement. You want to define the subject and the scope of the book. You want to say why this is a unique book and timely book. You want to talk about the greatest benefits and features of the book. You want to talk about the book's audience, why you're writing it to them, and of course, touch on your own credentials. Remember, this is the very first thing. You will be able to expand this later. So yes, 100 words, 250 words maximum. All of this will be expanded on later, and you'll see as we go. Chapter 7, about the market. Now, this is the time you want to think about being a marketer, right? So put yourself in the position of the person who has to promote this book. You want to explain to them who is the market. Really dig into who they are. What do they fear? What do they desire? What are they needing? What do they want to be able to do? What do they want to feel? What do they want to know? Really dig into them. And then you want to talk about how large the market is, because honestly, if you want a publishing house to pick up your book, you can't have a very small niche. It's got to be something a little bit more mass marketable. Otherwise, they're not going to invest in you because that's a losing proposition for them. So you want to talk about how large the market is. Then you want to talk about the special venues and how you can help. So if you're a speaker, if you're a teacher, if you're in an association, you can sell the book through the association. They want to know all the ways that you, the author, can help them sell the book. The more you can help them sell the book, the more interest they will have in giving you an advance and taking a risk on you, because they know that this is a partnership, not you just handing over the manuscript and going, do this for me. They want partners these days. They just don't do things for you anymore. Chapter 8, and this was one of my favorite chapters. You will find it so useful. It is the extended version of the book concept, where you get to flesh out the ideas you introduced there. And there's way too much information to summarize here. So the topics in this particular chapter are talking about structure, talking about leads. Leads are so important. Even if you're writing your own book and you don't even need a book proposal, leads are so important. I'm teaching leads all the time. Categories of information, problem solving, and a worksheet for you to work from in one of the sidebars. This is excellent. First thing, flip to this chapter and see how much amazing stuff it has in it. It is truly awesome. Chapter 9 talks about the table of contents and chapter summaries. And again, this is a great chapter. Even if you're not writing a book proposal and you're just planning your own book, this will educate you. So the table of content previews the book, projects its contents, its depth, its style. It provides you with easy access to each section. And so the publishers or the editors or agents want to know the table of contents so they get an overall sense, and they want to then have chapter summaries of each so they get a full sense of the book. So to develop your table of contents, you can review your audience and your purpose, gather all your stuff, divide all your research into groups of related information, give each group a name, and then decide how you're going to organize it from important to least important, from chronological order, step by step, however you're going to organize it. And then once you have a structure, you can, each area is then a chapter. You can establish a hook or a lead for each chapter, which you need to do in the proposal, more so even than you have to do in the book most of the time. You can choose each, you can have working titles or working chapter titles for each. You can put in subtitles and headings and chapter descriptions, and then for each chapter you have this main topic, and you can then craft a topic sentence and a chapter summary. Voila, a table of content and chapter summaries. And even if you're not writing a book proposal, you decide to go straight to self-publishing, this is a really useful exercise. Chapter 10, sample chapters. So you can submit anywhere from one chapter to half the book, depending on the genre, the publisher's requirements, the agent's requirements, and so forth. Sometimes the introduction chapter is a really good chapter to give because it kind of gives that overall of the book, but often they really need something else. They need something in the middle, the kind of something they can really get a grasp of your writing style and what to expect in the book and what it might look like. Because you want it to represent the originality of your book and how it contributes. You want to showcase your best writing, and the introduction doesn't always do that. But then if you do send in multiple chapters, then you want an introduction, a really wonderful snazzy chapter, and then maybe one that's just really easy for you to write. So if that's 3 chapters that you might submit, if you're allowed to submit 3 chapters. And chapter 11, we're talking about production details. This is where you get to say what you envision for the length of the book, the time that the publisher will allot you to actually finish writing the book, any kind of illustrations or charts or anything like that that you envision in the book, the format of the book. any extras that you are hoping to put in the book, any permissions you need if you're interviewing people or you're using other people's materials. Just you need to let them know that you need to, or they need to, or somebody needs to seek out permission for those pieces. Front matter and back matter, if you have any ideas on that, any photography or artwork that you want in the book. Endorsements, this is really important, because if you have connections, if you know someone in your industry who is really well known to the public and who's maybe quite a famous author, and they would be willing to endorse you, you want to get that in the proposal, because that matters, right? And then, is there anything you need to complete the book? Is there anything you're hoping to get help with to complete the book? That's where you want to put this. So chapter 12 about promotion. More than ever, as I said, publishers want you, the author, to help them promote the book. It's no longer, here's my manuscript, go at it. This part of the proposal must be strong. And think back, think about, okay, what am I willing to do for the first year of the book? Like, once the book's published, I'm going to be involved heavily for the first year. Am I willing to travel? Am I going to hire a publicist? What can I do? Can I teach? Can I write? Do I have a blog? What's my social media following look like? So think about all the ways you can help promote the book. If you have a large social media following or a large email list, this is the time to mention that. What are they looking for here? One, they're looking for your willingness to participate, your enthusiasm, your willingness to cooperate. They're evaluating your connections. If you have no social media connections, no email list, no colleagues, right? Plus, they're just looking for your ideas on how to promote the book. Because if you have ideas, that's something they are going to be interested in. Chapter 13, last but not least, the appendix. The appendix contains all the materials that support everything you've said in the proposal. So articles, letters, photo, artwork, your resume, awards, certificates, letters of commendations, book reviews for other books you've written, any kind of summary of any like radio shows, podcasts, TV that you've been on, exhibits, videos of you speaking, audios, your photograph, anything you think that will help support what you've said in the proposal goes in your appendix, and make it look nice. Don't just throw a bunch of things together. Make sure things are labeled, page numbers, where people can find things. Make it easy for them to go through it. And then chapter 14, marketing strategies. And this is where she steps out of the proposal and goes back to you and says, hey, now you know how to write a proposal, or you've written a proposal, or you're well on your way to writing a proposal. We need to think about query letters. So you're going to send a query letter to an agent or to an editor. Agents, again, shop the book to many publishers. Editors represent a publishing house. You might be sending out to agents and editors. She does touch on this, kind of the rules, the politeness of doing that in the book. It's a good thing to know. The answer is it depends, and kind of get to know the agents and the publishing houses and what they're expecting. And so query letter. Grab their attention. So it's a lead, right? Grab their attention just like you would grab their attention in the proposal, grab their attention in a chapter, right? Grab their attention. And in the body, expand on the subject, the market, the competition. Be specific and add your credentials. Now that you have a proposal, you can go through that proposal and say, okay, if I only had 2 paragraphs and I had to pull out the most important stuff, what would I pull out and put in that? That's what's in the query letter, the most exciting stuff. Make it exciting. And then the conclusion, offer to send them a proposal, thank them for reading through the letter, let them know you're really, really interested. Show your willingness, I guess is what I want to say. Show your willingness. And then marketing strategies. So again, choosing between an agent and an editor. You can send to both, right? You don't have to. The other thing she has in this is interpreting responses. There's a difference between getting a form letter going, no, thank you, with, they send out 1,000 of those a week, versus getting a written hand, or like a personal rejection, right? A personal rejection is so much better than a form letter rejection. And if you get a personal rejection, study it. Try to figure out, like, what are they telling you? Are they saying, yes, submit it again, but these are the problems and we need you to rectify this? Or, it's not for us, but I think that publishing house would be interested. Like, read that through carefully and know, and learn from it so that you can move on. Finally, chapter 15, the perfect proposal. Once you've sent in a query letter and somebody says, yes, send it in, time to polish. It's time to polish it and make sure it's perfect for them, right? A really good title, everything is organized correctly, it's all right in the right order, it's all logical, every section really meets its purpose, meets its objective. And then don't forget to copy, edit, and proofread and format it beautifully. There's nothing worse than sending off a proposal and then realizing that it's sloppy or there are lots of grammatical errors in it. You're an author now, right? So you need to have this edited. And if you need to pay someone to edit it, to review it, revise it, and edit it, do that. I know that sometimes when I work with authors, they come to me for a developmental edit, but they also want to work with a publishing house. And so we actually say, okay, on hold for the developmental edit, first the proposal. And this actually happens. People come, it's like, can you edit this so I can get it to a publishing house? I'm like, no, slow down. Let's do the proposal first. Forget the edit, and I'll help you with the proposal. And once you have the proposal and you get the go-ahead, then we'll think about the editing and we'll see what the publisher wants from you, like how much time you have, whether they, what kind of services they're supplying to you, and then we can make decisions on that one step at a time. So first the proposal, then the book. I am going to say though, write the proposal before you start writing query letters. Don't write query letters and then go, oh my God, I've got like 5 days to get this proposal together. Spend a good solid 2 or 3 weeks putting together an awesome proposal, and then start sending out query letters. And when you get someone back who says, yes, send it, then you're like, okay, look at their website, figure out exactly what they need, polish your proposal as per their needs, their desires, and then send it to them. That's a much better way than going into a panic and landing up sending something that's sloppy that is going to get rejected when you've got a really good book there. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. That's a big long nutshell. If you want a copy of this book, the link is in the description. Thank you for watching. I always appreciate a thumbs up or a question or a comment. And if you'd like more of the same, don't forget to subscribe.